Good morning or afternoon, everybody, or wherever you are. We're going to be jumping into some Nightingale deep, well, not literally jumping in, but we're going to be checking out some Nightingale today. They're going to be doing a deep dive on IGN. Right now, we're just waiting for it to get started, but in the meantime, we can probably chat a little bit about the game and see what we're going to get today, really. We don't really know what yet. They did say that, like somebody said in the chat, I think, that there's going to be a new creature never seen before. And then also they're going to talk about some of the wildlife that we'll be encountering. Past that, though, they said that there's going to be a deep dive. So hopefully there will be some gameplay, maybe a new trailer as well, and more importantly, a release date. Because it'd be nice to see some new stuff for the game. Let me jump onto my monitor here. Right now, they're just showing some other stuff, right? Wait a minute. Let me change this. Hold on. It'll probably end up being pretty good. But we can go ahead and just watch the trailer again really quick. We got a little while before it starts up, so I'll show you guys the trailer for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. This is what was showcased at the Game Awards a little bit ago, a couple months ago, I think, back in December. Yeah, this is the reveal trailer. Those things are creepy as hell.
Ever since the day the portal network collapsed, stranding us in these realms.
Let me turn off the music just in case, to make sure it's not overpowering.
We have searched for a way home.
Lost and alone in the dangerous labyrinth of fantastical worlds. Welcome to the lands of Fae.
Every portal is a chance for salvation. Uniting the lost survivors. Or leading us deeper into this nightmare. Nightingale, our beacon of hope. But beyond our reach. As long as we stand together, our journey will unite us.
You, the Realm Walkers, are all that is left.
So, you know, one thing I didn't really understand when I first watched the trailer is that this game is going to be based around the story of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It's I watched the TV series, but also read a little bit about the book itself. It's basically it's a story that takes place in, I believe it's either, where is it? London, I believe. But it takes place around like the 18th, 19th century. And it's when England is, oh, sorry. I think it's England, actually. Never mind. Yeah, England. Magicians aren't really able to do magic at that point in time. So what's going on is they have to find a way to bring magic back to England, and it hasn't been done in over 300 years. And it all starts with Mr. Norrell, who makes a deal with this guy called the man with thistledown hair, I think he's called. And he's a actual member of the Fae. Well, he's a fairy. So the fairies in this realm of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell are very like sinister. They're very conniving, and I think this might be the same situation when we actually get into Nightingale. There was a narrator in there that starts talking about how we're realm walkers and we're the last ones left, and he reminds me a lot of the man with thistledown hair. Might be able to find a picture of him actually, but he basically tricks Mr. Norrell into reviving a woman. So he tells him that he'll do it, but he wants something in return. see. Yeah, I think that's exactly what his name is. Him. So in the show, this is what he looks like. In the book itself, I think it's a little bit different. But yeah, he's actually like a very, very sinister dude that ends up being one of the main antagonists, or the main antagonist of the book. I think it even says it here. But I think what'll happen when we actually get into Nightingale is we might be able to actually learn magic through these fairies, potentially. Or it just might come back to us either way, because they said at later points in the game we'll be able to actually do it. But they said that there's going to be NPC interaction as well as NPC interaction, RPG aspects as well. So we'll probably be able to interact with these guys just as we're able to interact with that giant. Which, speaking of the giant, they actually did put another video out on their Twitter. This guy looks freaking massive. And they did put out, on the actual newsletter, they put out this concept art that showcases the size of the giant in comparison to us. And he looks really, really big. And you can see it in the trailer, but just looking at this part, I think there's a better picture in here. Hold on. Is there? Potentially. Let me see if I saved it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so you can see they're really, really big. So hopefully there's going to be some other big kind of creatures like that we can find out or see. Because those would be really, really cool to fight. We did see the one in the trailer. And that's one that they did say we'll be able to actually fight. And he's like right here in this last shot too. So we'll probably be able to fight that guy. But during the trailer, we also get a peek at the Nightingale City. Kind of hoping that's something they showcase during the actual deep dive too. But the city of Nightingale is actually going to be a very big part of the game, it seems. We're going to reach it at some point in time. Kind of like, I think I saw on one of the interviews how it's kind of like the Normandy in Mass Effect. And probably like the, I don't know what that place is called, but No Man's Sky kind of has something like this. I remember when I played one of the previous expansions, I came across the city with my friends, and you can meet other players inside of there, and I guess talk to people, interact with people somehow. I think it's going to be a little bit like that. See here. I wish I could find a name of it. I don't remember what it's called for the city of No Man's Sky, but the game itself, Nightingale, seems like it's going to be similar to how No Man's Sky was originally promised, because I went back and looked at a bunch of articles talking about this. But I remember when No Man's Sky was coming out, I forgot the guy's name, but the studio head or the main developer of No Man's Sky, he went on a bunch of interviews and talked about like the multiplayer and was saying that you'd be able to find people out in the world. Like, let's say if you went to the same exact place, you found the same exact world in the universe of No Man's Sky, you'd be able to meet somebody there. And I had to check out some articles because it's been so long since I saw that interview, because that was like right before No Man's Sky came out. But that ended up being a lie. We weren't able to actually do that, and there was a lot of other things that were promised that didn't come to fruition in that game. So early on, there was a lot of flack that was generated off of that. But then No Man's Sky made a comeback, but I still don't think it works exactly how they promised in the beginning. But this time around, we might actually see that. Nightingale, so far, it is still described as like a shared world, but they haven't really fully gone into how it's going to work with the realm system. But from what they've described so far, it seems like when we go to these different realms, because they have confirmed we'll be able to like meet other people out in the world or out in these different realms. So it seems like it might work like that, or it might work a little bit like Valheim, where there's a server list and we can just jump between them at will. Sean Murray, yeah, Sean Murray. There was some interviews that he did where he talked about the multiplayer. I don't know if I can find that. Let me see. I know it when I see it. Not that. Not that. It was... yeah. I don't think they've started yet, so we can probably watch it.
Will I get bored playing this game?
Sometimes.
Will I get bored playing
What's
this
up,
game?
Liu Kang? How you doing?
Are there planets the size of Earth?
Yeah.
Can I rename Earth something better?
No.
Is Earth in this game?
Wait. What did he say?
Are there planets the size of Earth?
Yeah.
Can I
Oh,
name
you liar.
Earth something better?
No.
Is Earth in
But
this
it's the
game?
size of Earth.
No. Well, maybe. Something Earth-like.
I didn't even know.
Let's
I
say
didn't
might
remember
be.
that.
No.
They
Is
were
Earth
not.
in this game?
No.
Can I teleport back to my ship?
No.
Have you found a planet that you'd prefer to live on instead of Earth?
No.
Can you collect plants in this game?
You can discover plants.
Is there a fog of war on your map?
Yes.
Will I have an objective marker?
No. You will have many.
Will the word follow appear on my screen at any time?
No.
Will you be able to play with your friends?
Yeah.
Is there a competitive element to this?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
where
if
it
you want
was.
that, yeah.
So wait, hold on.
Can you grief?
Yes.
Can you this game?
Yeah, if you want.
No. I think it was something different that he asked them, because I remember a part during this, and some of the interviews were confirming this too, where he specifically said like you can meet up with other people in these different universes.
Yes.
Can you
But
grief other players?
I don't think that was the exact
A
quote.
little bit.
Will there be NPC characters?
No.
If I want to buy something in the game, do I have to go to a store?
Yeah.
Did you play Destiny?
Yes.
Can I chop down a tree?
Sort of. Yes.
Can you select a gender at the beginning of the game?
No. No. We haven't said who you are.
Can you customize the look of your character?
Sort of.
Do you ever get a good look at your character?
You can see other characters, and they can see you.
Can you settle a bet?
Okay, we're good.
Sure.
It hasn't
no
started yet.
Country for Old Men.
I mean, it
Sky
hasn't started with
good wordplay.
Nightingale yet.
No, it's not.
Can I build shelters?
No.
Can I plant a flag on a planet?
Sort of.
If I could plant a flag, could I design the flag?
No.
Do different planets have different gravity?
No, your suit compensates for them.
So do you often go to planets and you're just like, well, this is just a total dud?
No, not that often. Sometimes.
Can you ride a dinosaur?
No, you can't.
Do the animals eat each other?
Yeah, they do.
Can I take pictures of the animals?
Yeah.
Can you cross-pollinate life between planets?
Is this the game you're playing, that you're going out spreading your seed across the universe?
I'm not
Yeah, it does suck when
under
a lot of
questioning
these
right
games
now.
do start releasing in early access these days. I mean,
I think it's safest that
for
you
indie
don't.
companies, that's really what it was for in the beginning, like early access, releasing in beta. But
Can you terraform a planet?
AAA companies
Let's say
started
no.
doing it, and now everybody's
swim
just
underwater?
doing it by default.
Can you accidentally destroy a planet?
Although some companies actually deliver early access games that are worthy of being early access games, like not a demo like a lot of companies do, but it actually feels like a polished game, polished enough to be played from start to finish, but it's just they don't have everything that they want to have there yet.
No.
Like Valheim was an example of that. I know there was more. I think Kenshi as well.
Can you purposefully destroy a planet?
A little bit.
Can you be a pacifist? in this game?
I played
Yes,
Kenshi back when it
although-
was being developed. Actually, it was really fun.
That doesn't mean that people won't attack you.
Is there intelligent life in this game?
The players, hopefully.
Is there intelligent life in the universe in real life?
Some, not answering these
Intelligent life
questions
players,
Are
right?
there forms of life in this game that are beyond normal comprehension?
Right now. I'd like to.
That's
think
one. So like
there
with that
are-
sentence, he was kind of insinuating that
God
the
in this
players, you're gonna come across the
game?
players.
Or maybe that's us. Wait.
Are you uncomfortable?
Yes.
Can you just live in space?
Yeah. You could just fly about your ship forever.
Are there some planets that are too inhospitable for life?
Yeah.
Are there health bars in this game?
Yeah.
Do the corners of the screen get all bloody when you take damage in this game?
I know there's got to be at least one more in here.
Is this galaxy a spiral arm galaxy?
No.
Does this galaxy exist within the mind of a child?
No. It feels a little bit like that right now, but no.
Is it super nerve-wracking to talk on stage at E3?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Is it the worst?
This might be the worst, but E3 was pretty bad.
If I keep flying in one direction for a really, really long time, will I bonk the edge of the galaxy?
Bonk the edge of it? Is that like just
That's exactly
flat
what it
out
is.
stop? Or would
I
you
think it
prefer
might be
that
coming
said
up.
You are now leaving the mission area.
Yes.
No, neither of those things happen. You can go into the darkness for as long as you want, Geoff.
Are there sheep in this game?
Maybe, not that I've seen.
We know the answer.
Specifically sheep.
Specifically sheep.
Is this going back to your cross-pollination? It's just, where are we going with it?
I don't know.
Is there a threat? Like,
Can you have more than one spaceship?
no, you have to go and find the ship that you like.
Can you have more than one spaceship?
No.
Can you build a space station?
No, you can't. No. That's a good
Can you just release the game right now?
idea. Nobody would want that.
Will there be DLC?
No.
Can you land on a comet?
Yeah, at the moment you can land on asteroids.
Can you do this?
Yes.
He saved the whole thing for that.
Does the game contain any Joe Danger Easter eggs?
No, it doesn't. But I feel like we should do that.
Can you build a robot companion like in the hit film Interstellar?
I haven't seen it yet, but presumably, no.
Is this a miracle?
Is this a miracle?
That's what the question says.
I don't know if
Who
it
writes
was
these
this
questions?
interview. It was
Has
one of
somebody
them,
handed
though.
you these
It
questions?
was Sean Murray.
Possibly.
Do you mean you guys coming here, this interview?
Can I rephrase the question?
Yeah.
Is life a miracle?
No.
Is there a McDonald's near the studio?
No. It's really annoying. There's a burger
Some of these
King.
questions are so fucking
Are there
dumb.
black holes?
Yes.
Will the game be fun?
Yes.
Would you like to know how well you did?
No. How much I do.
That ends the questions.
But at one point during it, one of the questions he asked is that, will there be intelligent life? And he says the players, hopefully. So it's kind of going into that same conversation, because I remember that they did promise something like that, like you'd be able to meet other players out in the world. So when he says something like that, that's insinuating that, yeah, you'll probably meet players, but at that point we never did. So Nightingale's saying that they want that to happen. And that should happen. So I'm actually curious now if that's what it will be like in Nightingale, instead of it being like a thing where you can go to other people's realms, but you have to join their game, like co-op drop-in or something like that, like from a serverless. I'm wondering if it's just a seamless thing where you build a portal and then you could just jump from yours to the next, and then potentially find someone new, or maybe find your friends, something like that. Wait, let me turn that back on. Oh, it's on. Never mind. But yeah, I wanted to check that interview out again because I knew it was at least one of them.
Ya para abrir el restaurante que era el arroz. Y me llama el cocinero.
It's probably another one that I'm thinking of where he specifically said it, but oh, okay. Yep. Oh, here we go.
Mira, el bañador.
Here we go. This is perfect. Hold on. Yeah. Wait. Let me make sure the volume is okay. Okay. So they did that. That happened back when No Man's Sky was releasing. They talked about that, but I'm hoping that this time around we'll actually see that be a thing. Hopefully in the deep dive they'll actually showcase that. And my biggest question is if it's going to be like a portal system, or if we'll just see like a server list and then we just jump between those. I hope it's not a server list, because like Valheim has that where you can, you know, jump between servers, but you can bring your character over there though, which is pretty cool. But you know, it doesn't feel as seamless, as interactive if you're just doing it from a server list. But also because the game was originally supposed to be built as like an MMO, Nightingale was, that kind of sounds like it might work a little bit more like that, where it's going to be seamless transition between the different realms through the portals. Hold on one sec, the cat wants to go out. 1 second. Okay. All right, I'm back. But I think this should be starting in around like 40 minutes. Hopefully. So far, they haven't put anything else out on their Twitter. But I'm really excited. I want to see what they can do. Hopefully, we get a good showcase today. So they're talking about. What are they talking about right now? I'm keeping it muted. Oh, they're probably talking about one of the new Marvel movies or something like that. Well, one of the new movies in general. Keeping that stuff muted just because I'd rather just wait until the actual showcase. Watch the trailer again really quick though. How similar to Rust? It seems like it's going to be more like Conan, less like Rust. More like Conan or more like Valheim. I mean, as far as the playstyle goes, it reminds me a lot of like... Well, the scenery and whatnot reminds me a lot of Greedfall. Greedfall, like New World kind of thing. The world and scenery, all that fun stuff. But because it's first person... Probably more like Conan Arc even. There was even there was a tweet that showed a new creature a couple days ago, this one here. And if you look at how it moves, just how it like interacts with the world, like when it uses that, you know, little attack or whatever, it seems like an Arc dinosaur doing that as far as the animation goes. So I'm getting more of an Arc vibe from it. And I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to work, because I don't know if they're going to have a taming system. They haven't mentioned anything like a taming system yet, but I'm feeling more like Ark instead of like Rust as far as the building and whatnot goes. Fallout, I haven't played in so long. I don't remember fully how that plays. I think I do. Let me double check though. Oh, game right. Yeah, you know, it could feel like this too. It could. Hopefully not though, yeah. Hopefully it doesn't feel like Fallout. I'm trying to think of a first-person game that's like set in the Victorian era that might be a little bit better, like might be a better example as far as the gameplay goes. I know there was Order 86, Order 76, something like that. What was that game called? Order... I can't remember the game name, but I think it was similar to like Wolfenstein, that game. Yeah, hopefully we don't see like a Fallout theme there, at least as far as the interaction goes. Like the first person side of it, yeah, they might be similar in that way, but as far as like interacting with the world and everything like that, hopefully not. The scenery does look beautiful though, and like they talked about one part in the trailer, and they said that as far as the building goes, let me see if I can get back to it. Where is it? I think it's coming up right here ish. Yeah, I think as far as the building goes, so this is something that we'll be coming across, like a sort of a hub, but I believe they said that it wouldn't actually be something we could build right off the bat, but they probably, you know, they probably just meant like you're not going to be starting the game building something like this, because building wise it looks like it looks very similar to Ark or Conan building. Like you can see the what do they call those, not telegraphs I guess, but silhouettes of the blocks, and it looks very akin to those. It's just a standard block system for the most part, and then right here we got the staircase that I saw a second ago. So more than likely we'll be able to build this at some point, but yeah, probably just, you know, not right off the bat. I'm glad at least that we can go, even though it might sound silly, I'm glad that we can at least go above the first floor, because I think there's at least 1 or 2 sandboxes that are on the top of my head right now where you can't build 2-story, 3-story houses or anything like that. Building wise, it does look pretty good though, albeit a little bit, looks like we might have a basic amount of choices as far as like wallpaper and whatnot goes early on. Like I'm seeing this right here, and these two, or these, yeah, just these two basically across this entire hub. This one and this one, and then in the next scene for building, did we pass it? It was the one before it. Yeah, this one here, it's that same exact wallpaper. So hopefully we'll have extra choices. It'd be great if we could even paint the wallpaper. That'd be great. But we'll have to see how that goes. Order 1886. There, that's the one. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's the one. I think it could be similar to that too, playstyle wise. 1886. That's a first person one, right? Oh, no. That's got some third person in it. Yeah, because so far we haven't seen any elements of third person yet, and so far they've only advertised it as first person. So I don't even know if we'll have like a third person camera view when the game first comes out. Because like Ark, Conan, those games, you'll normally be able to at least use the third person camera if you want to. I might watch this show. This looks pretty cool.
It to the absolute nth level. So.
Halo. And then when the Nightingale premiere starts, I'm going to record it on my other computer. I want to go back through it as we're going along. Oh, so these are the actors of that show. I gotcha. But other than that, we really haven't seen a whole lot from this game yet. They're probably going to showcase the giant. They've been showing that giant like all over the place. We've seen it in the newsletter and the trailer twice, actually. Interviews, they've been mentioning it a lot, because for the giant, like even during the trailer you can kind of see, but we're going to be able to interact with these giants in multiple different ways. Let me see if I can go into Adobe actually, so I can just skip to these parts a little bit easier. But yeah, for the giant, we'll be able to, when we first meet them, we could either fight them, where they try to invade our base, like we saw in the trailer, or we might be able to be diplomatic with them and maybe get like a reward for them, from them, for not trying to kill them or anything like that. As far as taming goes, they haven't said anything on that side either, but there seems like there's going to be a decent amount of various animals. Like the little tiny one that we saw in the trailer, that looked like one we could potentially tame for sure, like a little pet that follows us around. And then the bird that we saw looked like something you could potentially tame, even craft a saddle for. Oh yeah, that's where I'm going. This makes it easier. Yeah, this one right here, this little bugger. I don't remember if they introduced any concept art for him, but this looks like one you could probably tame. And then in the background, as you can see, we get windmills. I don't know if we're going to actually be able to build those or not, but I think there's multiple parts of the trailer that you'll see that they'll see different buildings like that in, like over here, this one on the right, for example. I don't know if we'll be able to build that or not. I'm kind of curious if magic is going to be a thing that we can use to help with our everyday interaction with the game, because the story that it's based off of, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, they tend to use magic in that story for a lot of general things alongside like battle related situations, although I think the battle related situations are very few. But like you might see them use magic for building roads or magic for generating rain, for example. So I'm thinking we might potentially see that pop up in this game, and that might be part of how they try to set themselves apart from other sandboxes. Because like if you look at Myth of Empires, for example, that game that just recently released, it feels a lot like Ark or Conan Exiles, and I'm pretty sure they still even had that lawsuit that might still be going on or might not still be going on because of how similar the engine is. But that game, though, the way that it sets itself a little bit apart is that the follower system is so intertwined with the mechanics. Like the followers that you can get, you can command them to set up formations like you would in Mountain Blade Bannerlord or Mountain Blade in general, and you can set them onto different benches like in Conan, for example. But you can also find different camps out in the world that you can, I guess, no, now that I think about it, because it's basically the thrall system in a way. It's very similar to the thrall system, but it sets itself apart a little bit by the command system, because like you can't actually set your thralls into formation and get bonuses off of that in Conan like you can in Myth of Empires. So it's pretty unique in that sense, and I think there's a couple other things that you can do with them that are pretty cool. But for Nightingale, it might be magic. And there was a game that came out a while ago, I think years ago, that I did play quite a bit too, called Citadel Forged with Fire. I think they could potentially be going for a magic system similar to that, because that was a game where you could actually learn magic and create your own spells, which was really, really cool. Like you could, I think you could choose if you wanted like a beam spell or like a projectile spell, and there was taming in that one. Like you could tame dragons, drakes, all kinds of stuff, which was really cool. But the magic system was really, really nice from what I remember. It's been a while, but I'm hoping that they'll have an in-depth magic system for this one too. Okay, Halo series is first, so LSW game. Oh yeah, Lego Star Wars, and then we might be right after Lego Star Wars. Is that Vikings Valhalla? Nice. I should follow that. I want to see that. So we shouldn't have too much longer to wait, but let me see if I can check out a couple of these pictures. So these are mostly the pictures that we've seen in articles. So we got that same kind of wallpaper design there, but as far as like the building side goes, it looks like it'll be pretty good. I mean, we're able to build these pillars here and then slanted rooftops. I know it's kind of basic to think about that, but I mean, it seems like it'll be a decent enough building system to start with. And then this right here, this looks like it could be a mineral that we might have to gather. Just the look of it. Whenever we see spots like that, it normally indicates that it could be metal of some kind that we'll have to gather. So they picked a good spot to build. I wonder if we'll actually be able to carry the resource like this on our back, though. That part I am kind of curious about. And even get backpacks crafted. I hope so. But I wouldn't mind having to do this. This is pretty nice, actually. I think we've seen that in the trailer, too. Us carrying wood like that with that animation. Although, if we do have to do that, that means it's going to take quite a bit of time to build stuff. Because I know there was games like, what was it? I think Life is Feudal made you do that, where you have to carry that stuff by hand, like piece by piece, or one of those games does, and it can take forever, but it's worthwhile though. And then this seems like this guy's going through the portal right here. If they actually do look like this, like at like this size, that would actually be pretty insane. And you know, just looking at this, it could be a thing where the portals may spawn somewhere random on the map when we first dive in, because the story behind the portal system is when we first get into the game, we're coming in at a point where we're cut off from the portal network that leads back to the city of Nightingale. So from the sounds of it, this portal network has pretty much already been built. It just deactivates across the board. So we have to reactivate it and then start exploring all these other realms until we can get back to the city of Nightingale. So it is possible that we might just see the portals out and about in the world as a point of interest, and we just have to go find them and then reactivate them by getting some resources or something like that, or we have to build them ourselves. Either way, I'm hoping they're this big, because this is pretty sweet actually. There's another one of those windmills here, and then I don't know if we'll be able to build all of this, but I kind of hope so. If we're able to build a ramp like that, I can imagine that being a pretty good tool for like transferring resources. Like, let's say if you have a mine, and if we can, I don't know if we'll be able to tunnel. Probably not going to have any terraforming. But what's up, Avatar? But if we don't have terraforming, maybe if you have a mine that's like very, very highly elevated, you can build a ramp downward to like drop the materials down, so you don't have to walk all the way back down. I'd totally do something like that. And definitely fingers crossed on that one, Gers. I don't know if they're gonna do another test soon, but I think they've already had a couple tests already. I don't think I remembered seeing this the last time I looked at this picture. Holy crap. But hopefully we'll get an early access or like a release date today. That'd be so good. Aside from more gameplay, that's like the main thing I think people are hoping for. This looks really interesting. What is this? This definitely appears to be a magical creature, but I actually did not notice that the first time I saw this picture. Actually, this is something I was thinking about last night, but I wonder, as far as the realms go, if some of these realms can be, like, if some of these realms might introduce time travel. Because they did say in one of the interviews that they would be introducing people from throughout history into this Victorian era. Now, but the way they said it, it's not clear if they mean the historical people that come from the Victorian era, or people all across history can potentially be thrust into the Victorian era. Because this whole screenshot right here, this actually reminds me a little bit of like gives me like an Oriental feel, like a very Eastern actually. Now that I'm getting a good look at it, the design of this character, like her outfit, feels a little bit more like that. This creature specifically, though, feels like a sort of an Eastern type of dragon almost. I'm actually very curious to see if we'll see that in game. Maybe today. Let me see, what's the next one? Carrying wood again. Another portal network. So this could totally work like that. Now that I think about it, it could be where we just find the portals as points of interest on the map, and then we have to go rebuild them. Maybe if we and actually, if it does work like that, then that probably does suggest that we won't have to worry about going through like a server select screen. We just reactivate the portal and we just pray whatever's on the other side is really good. And we just go through it, and then we can probably end up in another person's realm. But then I wonder if you activate a portal, does that portal also activate in that other person's realm? Like if you reactivate the link between two portals, does that other person's portal reactivate without them having to do anything? I wonder, because if it does, that would be pretty cool, because that means that if you see your portal activate, if it gives you like a notification or whatever, then you know somebody else just entered your realm. So that could be pretty cool as far as interactions go. But I'm really curious to see if this is going to be just something out in the world or something that we have to build, and the size of it too is what I'm really curious about. Where's my button? There we go. This is another settlement. I hope we get a little doggy and a kitty. Aw, they're so cute. I hope that's a thing. I'd love to have pets. That'd be so nice. But I do really like the design of these buildings. Because of the wallpaper, I'm thinking this is like one of the main ones we're gonna have, because this is the one where we keep on seeing. This one looks a little bit... No, I think that's... The design is very similar. It's just that these windows are kind of throwing me off. So I think that might end up being the main one. This part down here, though, different coloring there for sure. So that might just be a decorative thing that we can get. But either way, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'd love it if we can actually paint the walls, though. Another portal one. And then this is more of a desert region. Another windmill here. And then that looks to be a well. This in the back corner here looks like it could potentially be a shipwreck. That 100% looks like it could be a shipwreck. If I could see the rest of this, we could probably know for sure. But this part I think we did also see in the trailer. Might be able to find it again. See if we can actually in a little bit here. Wait, one sec. Okay. All right, cool. And then this is one of the newer ones that we got. So this looks like another type of realm that we can go through, or just biome, because there will be different biomes. So this looks more like a swampy area. And judging by that crow, might be a magical creature in this area, potentially one that we're not seeing. I don't see any though. Maybe I wonder if the trees could potentially come to life though. Now that I look at this again, might see some tree ents later on in the game. And then these are the bound. I can't believe I called these guys the boundless the first time I saw this, but the bound are like the guys that we saw in the trailer that can actually attack our base, kind of similar to like a was it the purge system from Conan? I think it's the purge. Let me double check. Conan. Yeah, so it's a PvE mechanic, semi-random event that occurs based on the player's actions. Yeah, so it seems very similar to the Purge is what these guys are going to be related to. Now, I'm wondering why, though, they attack us. I wonder if there's an actual story behind that, because so far, I don't think we've had much info on why they want to attack us like that. But we can check out these parts in the trailer here. So this is another creature, very magical creature that looks like one we'll be able to encounter. I hope we get to tame that one. If any of them, I'd love to tame that. And as far as the food system, they haven't really said much on that count. Just that the last time that I made a video for the articles, they said that we can expect, where is it? For the survival aspect, we can expect like a good grounding of survival elements in Nightingale. So it sounded almost like it might be on the less hardcore side. Like maybe instead of it being required to survive, we'll just be using it for like health and stamina, or health and stamina regen. Not 100% clear on that yet, but I'm really curious to find out more about that too. Purge, yeah, purge. So yeah, and even right here, this part right here. Oh yeah, trees can't come to life. That's right. Forgot about that part. Yeah. So that swampy area, that might even be where those tree ants will come to life, or one of the places where they'll come to life, because this doesn't look like the swamp per se. And then these are the bound right here. So we'll be able to put up these barricades. I don't know if I saw any spikes though. Yep, spikes. We'll have to build defenses here. And then as far as this goes, oh yeah, that does seem like it really is the shipwreck, a shipwreck or of some kind. As far as this goes, I don't know what exactly this is. I don't know if this is like a structure that we can repair, or if this is something somebody actually built. Let me see. It seems like it's something somebody built. Yeah, this looks like it was built by people. Especially because the giant's going for it specifically, so more than likely it's player built. He's huge though. Damn. So it seems like the giants might be the apex predators when we first get in. Other than the one that we saw at the beginning. Because we haven't really seen, they haven't really shown much other than these guys. So this one here and the giant. If we could see the giant go toe to toe with this, that'd be pretty awesome. But I'm pretty sure the this creature right here would probably win. So yeah, maybe not the apex predator, but close to it, I guess. They probably don't exist in the same realm too, so that could also be a thing. The giant could just be an apex predator in his realm, and then in the other realm, the big giant creature is the apex predator. Because if you look at this one, this looks like much different scenery than the one the giant is. And the giant seems like he's more in the desert or plains area. And this could also be, I wonder if they're going to have a mechanic where like more dangerous creatures come out at night. This could be what's going on here too. Some games have wanted to do that. I know that and some games do that as well. I know New World was going to have something like that, because in the first alpha, I remember it being a thing where at night you'd see like ghosts and ghouls that would come out of nowhere and they'd start attacking people. So that might be what they're going for here too. These might just be night exclusive ones. Okay, I think we got about 14 minutes left until they're gonna get close to ours. I know, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it too. They might even upload a video of it early on their channel. That's why I've got the Nightingale channel open too, because I know that sometimes as soon as the actual showcase or whatever goes live, sometimes they'll actually sometimes games will actually post it on the official channel too.
Must flow. Catch our unending up-to-date news and so much more over at IGN.com or subscribe to IGN on YouTube. And check out IGN Games and IGN Movies and TV for deep dives into your preferred pop culture. Plus, IGN guides to get help on veritably any game from our team of experts. No matter where you are, IGN.com, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, IGN has you covered.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and
me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's
Damn,
new
I can't
show,
wait to
The
see
Fix Entertainment.
Doctor Strange.
Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be here covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Okay, I think they're still talking about shows and whatnot right now. So I don't know what else they're gonna show today though. Because yeah, so far they've just talked about the new creature that we're gonna see. Might be that dragon creature. I would hope so. That one looks really sick. But they haven't said much more than that. Just exclusive new look. It will have Aaron Flynn and the art director. And then they're going to reveal a never-seen-before creature and talk about some of the Fey wildlife we'll encounter. So nothing more than that, but we might see some gameplay. I'm hoping we'll see some gameplay today. And then as far as like the IGN schedule, this one said that it would feature a deep dive with some of its creators as well as an exclusive inside look at the game. So that part sounds more like an actual gameplay showcase. What's up, Rovik? Yeah, Doctor Strange, it looks awesome. I'm so glad that Patrick Stewart's actually going to be in it, because I saw this video like months ago where it was like a leak of the plot, and they were talking about a lot of crazy stuff, including Patrick Stewart being in it. And now that he's in it, I'm thinking it might actually all be true, and it's going to be wild. I got to go back and find that again, even though I don't want to spoil myself on it, but I'm just like so excited to learn more about what to expect, or what's going to be in the movie. Share something more, please. Please. And they did post this one too, alongside this one of the Bound, which the Bound looked pretty badass. I want to get a hammer like that one too. I really do. But this one here kind of gives us a showcase of how big these worlds might be. In the video I made, I talked about how size-wise, I think it might be around the size of Skyrim's map or more for each of these individual realms. The way they're describing it, it does seem like we might see procedural generation, so it could be pretty possible. Because they said that they have a quote that keeps popping up in all these interviews, and the quote is, "1 million realms, 1 universe." And actually, let me see if I can find that again. But if that's going to be the case, like they're going to have a crap ton of realms like that, then I think it's very possible we might see that kind of size. I think it's this one. But then again, I don't know, they might have a way of generating very detailed worlds. Maybe they have some kind of tool for it. Multitude of realms, I think it's another quote actually, or another one. Let's see. Shared world. Yep, okay. A lot of those details we'll be talking about in the future, but I will say is that we have a mantra at the studio, which is 1 million realms, 1 universe. What we mean by that is that we always want to give players that sense they're connected to one another, that the world exists beyond their experience within. When Nightingale begins, survivals of a cataclysmic event have been scattered across the realms, and so we want to represent that through unifying the community in a way that feels present and meaningful to the player. So, and then part of that is players intersecting with one another as they traverse the realms. So that part is what really made it seem like we would be just be building these portals and then going through them, and then somebody else could be in that realm, and we don't have to worry about server selections or anything like that. We just seamlessly traverse through another realm. And judging from like the portal screenshots and everything that we saw there, it seems like that might be the case indeed. Like we won't have to really transfer from one server to the next. It's just like everything's connected. And then since they say from the beginning we can play with our friends, then more than likely, like when you first join a realm or create a realm, then you could probably do that in a co-op sense. And then when you go into another realm, you can find a solo player or a group of players. But I'm curious to see how many players can be in one place though, because if you get like 5 or 6 groups that join the same exact realm, can they all survive in there at the same time, or how does that go? Dang, he's big. I think we got 13 minutes left. Okay.
Ever since the day the portal network collapsed, stranding us in these realms, we have searched for a way home.
Lost and alone in the dangerous labyrinth of fantastical worlds. Welcome to the lands of Fae.
Every portal is a chance for salvation. Uniting the lost survivors.
Oh, Spider's back there too. Actually, this is the one that really reminds me of an Eastern theme. So I think that it could be correct that these realms might have different themes or potentially even different timelines to them. This here, like this, I don't know what these leaves are exactly called, but this definitely feels like it's got an Eastern theme to it. And I didn't even see this one on the right here.
The
saw that?
Survivors. Uniting the lost survivors. Uniting
Didn't even see that creature.
Lost.
It's like more of a spiny dinosaur right there.
The lost.
I didn't notice that before. Very interesting.
Uniting the lost survivors. Or leading us deeper into this nightmare?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because in the interviews, they talked about how there's going to be different ways of handling different situations. Like for this giant, this is the first part where it shows a little bit more of a diplomatic resolution. So we can choose to be diplomatic with them, or like later on in the trailer, we can decide to be a little bit more aggressive. So there's probably going to be other scenarios where we can choose something like that too. One thing I really want to know is, so the Fae are actually a very big part of the game as well, and because this game is based off of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, I want to know if we come across something that's considered a Fae and we're able to talk to them, I want to see them actually trick players like they would in that story, because they're supposed to be very like sinister, very cutthroat. So I want to see them actually employ that kind of thing, and maybe they offer us a good deal, like I'll buff your character, or I don't know, I'll teach you magic. There we go. I'll teach you magic, but it's going to cost a price, like maybe half your health or something like that, or they trick you and it ends up to be something greater than you anticipated.
Every portal is a chance
Ironwood.
for salvation. Uniting the
I
lost
love
survivors.
ironwood trees. Oh, I think playing games like Mortal made me love them, and that's why I do.
Or leading us deeper into this nightmare.
What's up, Jax? So much damage.
Nightingale, our beacon of hope.
And this is the city. So this city looks huge.
Nightingale.
Freaking huge.
Nightingale.
Like, this is going to be the central hub. When we reach this, we'll be able to come across all sorts of interactions, they said. Like, the game, when you get to Nightingale, the game doesn't end.
Our beacon
The
of
biggest thing
hope.
they said.
But beyond our reach.
Wait.
A vehicle, but I guess that theoretically they are, right? And we've seen
You don't need
AT
a
walkers. Yeah.
You don't need a license to jump on board them, so no, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, the closer to the camera.
Okay, they got Lego Star Wars, so we're
the
next.
Big ships, the small vehicles from the single trooper aerial platforms in Theed from Episode 1, through the land speeder in Mos Eisley, Mos Esper, and the Jungland Wastes in Episode 4. We've got
Yeah, we should be next. We should be
hundreds
next.
of different ways to get across the big
I love Lego
environments that
Star
you'll
Wars.
find yourself in.
I used to
in
play
this
that all the
game.
time.
We talked about the levels from that original game, and we do have action set pieces, choreographed moments of high intensity action and chases in this game.
So
but
blurry,
a lot of
though.
what you'll do in your pursuit
Or
of the
his
story
camera, at
and
least.
beyond is to explore open planetary environments and spaces within spaceships that we've built entirely out of Lego. So there are all kind of ways to traverse all these different spaces that we have in Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Let's talk about co-op, because co-op has always been one of my favorite elements of these games. I've seen co-op in the Lego games.
And then once we
evolve
get to
throughout the
Nightingale, we're
years
going to full
between,
screen it.
You know, single screen and split screen, and then we've had the thing that's sort of like the kind of clockwork camera angles and stuff like that. How are these levels or these areas scaled for 2 players? Because I love to play these games co-op, and they've always scaled well for sort of people of all ages. So what was done this time around to sort of advance that?
Yeah, it's going to be soon. What's up? Let me go ahead and turn up the volume a little bit more so that once we get to it, we won't have to worry about it. Right about there. Okay, cool. Yeah, it should be almost done or almost there.
Particular parents and children has been something we've been able to really focus on and have again with Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. So the whole game is playable in co-op. You'll pick up as different characters. It will work with a straight split screen. The dynamic split screen that you're talking about was something that we experimented with for a while, but we've gone to a fixed split screen now for this game. And the areas that you'll explore are generally quite large. There are set-piece duels and highlight, showcase, choreographed sections which bring the players very closely together. But also there are quite large spaces, like the whole of Coruscant, or large cities on Tatooine or Theed Palace, another large environment, where you'll be able to split up and explore and discover all the secrets that the game has to offer off the beaten track.
So how does that work for sort of like the legacy features, the stuff
Absolutely.
like
I'm going to start
True
recording
Jedi,
too.
collecting enough studs in each level? Is that stuff coming back, or have you kind of looked at that and kind of flipped it over on that end too?
So the reasons for having many of those old features that we had, the reasons for having depth of collectibles and rewards for playing the games increasingly skillfully, rewards for experimentation, that the incentive remains the same, but we have freshened up our approach. And we think we're very closely this time immersed in the Star Wars universe. So we don't have gold bricks, but we do have shimmering, attractive, secret, hidden Kyber bricks that you'll be able to collect across the whole game, both through progression with the story and also off the beaten track, in the hubs, in out-of-the-way places, by completing challenges and side quests and extra bonus missions. You asked about True Jedi. Yeah, similarly, we're going to encourage people to replay the levels and get extra rewards, but now through setting them specific challenges that they can undertake, as well as having, we do still have mini kits, exactly as we had them before, so you can collect those, because collecting and then unlocking more vehicles for you to play with, more spaceships for you to fly with,
Yeah, it's going to
more
be PC only.
characters
Yeah.
for you to control and take around through these wonderful spaces is still core to what we're trying to offer here.
We got a glimpse at what looked to me like a galaxy map of sorts in one of the recent trailers, which makes it seem like players will be able to hop from planet to planet. Obviously, in the original trilogy game, we had the kind of the cantina hub linking everything together.
They should have about 3 or 5 more minutes.
This is all about the
around
galaxy
there,
map.
3 or 5 more
So
minutes.
I think everything you were imagining, was in our imagination when we thought of being able to travel across the Lego Star Wars galaxy to bring that entire space to life. So we've got 23 planets, and you can, through the galaxy map, fly from one to the other, land on that planet in one of 28 different landing zones. And the story will take you in a progression from planet to planet, from location to location. There'll be gameplay on the planets, in the open hub areas, and then through levels as well. And that takes you, as well as on the planets, through space. So there is gameplay out in outer space, beyond the planets. There are all kinds of missions that you'll undertake in the local space environments as you skip around. Again, pursuing the story, you can choose whichever of the sagas you want to start, be it episode 1, episode 4, or episode 7, and unlock new story that way. Or you can choose, as you unlock new planets and new spaces, to go back and explore in free play to take control of different ships and characters.
Dang,
There's
this sounds
so
cool, though.
much for you to discover in Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. And yeah, the galaxy map and the data pad that supports it is going to be a central repository of information and tools to help you get the most out of discovering that huge space, our biggest ever game.
Yes, that's my response. I'm just very happy about that. Okay, so I'm gonna get in a little bit more detailed here. The Lego games, for me, one of the coolest things about them is they've recaptured that sort of feeling that I have collecting Star Wars toys, right? Like there are just tons and tons.
Okay, I think they're almost done with it.
Characters and ships and stuff that you can unlock. This is, for pretty much every Lego game you've made, there's been a deep roster, whether it's Jurassic Park or Indiana Jones, characters that are in the back corners.
Yeah, me too. I probably will.
Star Wars, especially
I used to love Lego
what
Star
you
Wars.
guys are taking on, which is 9 films, has some of the probably the biggest roster of anything in history. How did you attempt to get as many characters as you could in there? How did that process work?
I mean, always, because we love, like you, these characters, these stories, these worlds. There's a huge amount of passion and love that means we want to put them all in our own hands,
what's up, Mickey?
and in the hands of players.
Yoda.
And we've got an incredibly talented and hardworking team who are
Damn, that looks
working
so
now
cool.
for years with scrupulous and incredible attention to detail to really get the most out of the characters that are available. And there are hundreds of characters available. Now, we have to balance in some of those discussions the exuberance of a team who really would like to create every single individual that's ever been seen on celluloid in any Star Wars movie ever, with the sort of practicality and a player's sense of, look, there's a point where I have to finish the game. And there's a point also where we want to make sure that these characters are meaningfully differentiated from each other. But that has enabled us to go within the scope of this, our biggest ever game, really deep. I mean, even as we've been split up now for a while, working from home primarily, I think I was able to sense the disturbance in the Force as though a million voices had cried out in delight at the moment we confirmed that we did actually have Yaddle playable in the game. And the design piece, such as the intensity of feeling from amongst the team.
I know, I'm ready for it.
That I could sense it all the way from home. We've got fan favorites from previous games as well. Of course, the Gonk droid, the G&K Power droid is an important, iconic character in any Lego Star Wars game, and we'll go even further than that.
This game is stunning. Like it's gorgeous. I didn't expect anything less, but it seems like it's really taking advantage of, you know, the power under the hood of the new consoles and PC and stuff like that. Tell me how this game came together visually, because I know you're trying to strike that balance between something that looks like a shiny little, you know, piece of plastic toy, but then also something that's epic and grandiose and gorgeous.
I mean, it's simply the incredible work and talent of hundreds of people for a very, very long time, starting at a foundation with some of our amazing technology specialists and engineers.
A Darth Maul
creating new
fight especially
rendering
looks so good.
systems, that really make everything look better than it's ever looked in a Lego game. This was the right time for us to go back to Star Wars with the power of next generation consoles as well, and really give you vistas and effects that we've never been able to do before. But building on that then is the work not only of the character modelers who have sweated, again, you know, every detail of bringing these figures to life, every seam. There's new effects now weathering the characters dynamically so that the sand that they walk through actually appears on the physical models. And then the skill of all the artists and all the effects that go on top of that to make it all fit together and seem of a place. So you know you're in a Lego world, and yeah, it looks spectacular and it gleams where it should, but it also feels still Lego. The things that are made out of plastic bricks still have that connection that you have as someone who's picked these bricks up and played with them yourself. They still have the same meaning. It's a feat of technology, aesthetics, skill, creativity, and just hard work.
Jonathan, thank you so much.
Okay, here we go.
This is everything I wanted to hear today. This is actual, real.
They just posted a new tweet as well
coming from me, because I love this series. I love these games and I love Lego, and I'm super excited to see it all come together.
Wait, where to
Lego
go?
Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga comes to PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Oh yeah.
This
Okay,
April.
that's what it was.
So for all things
perfect.
Lego Star Wars
New
and
tweet,
video games, stick with IGN. And thank you so much, Jonathan.
All right,
here
we go.
Thank you very much, Brian.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me. So be it, Jedi.
Thanks, Brian. Earlier this month, Shenmue, the legendary video game series, became a
That looks
legendary
sick,
Adult
though.
Swim animated
Hell
series
yeah.
when Shenmue, the animation, launched on February 6th. Yes! Here's your first look at a scene from the third episode, courtesy of Shenmue series creator Yu Suzuki himself.
Oh wait, no.
今回のアニメでは監修をして
I
います。
probably don't want to show that one.
シェンムーは知っているけどゲームは大変みたいに思っている人にぴったりです。リョウと福原の組手のシーンです。
We're
道
so
場や
close
掛
though.
け軸など日本の雰囲気が世界の人たちに伝わると嬉しいです。
All right, let me mute this one. We're almost there. You get permission, but it doesn't matter, because a lot of the times it just gets auto-claimed. Okay, cool. Here we go. All right, here we go.
So, I mean, there you go.
Wait, is this coming up or this right now?
IGN Fan Fest is presented by Elden Ring.
Okay, here we go.
Explore a new world created by Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. Available on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam on February 25th.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for?
I feel like I'm watching TV
We're
right now.
constantly updating our
Like
feeds
regular
to bring
TV.
you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Competition brings out the best
Dude,
in all.
come on, please. Just show us what we want.
Oh, that's a controller break.
That's unfortunate. Welcome to IGN Compete, where we bring you the stories behind the esports headlines.
World champion.
From the triumphs
Daryl takes the game
to the hardships
It's not heavy.
to the miracle moments that will go down in history.
I just can't believe it.
It's crazy. It's all here on IGN Compete.
God, I'm in disbelief.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting
Has it already been 5 minutes? I think it has.
Me, Akeem Lawanson, host of IGN's news show, The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop,
Oh, okay, I
film
think this is
fiasco,
just
or
like
anime
a
announcement,
commercial.
I'll be here
Okay.
covering all the breaking movie, TV, and streaming news that matters most to you. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment on IGN for your fix of entertainment news. Let's drop it.
Come on, man.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite.
Damn it, dude. What the hell? All right. Probably after this. Just in case. There's a lot. They just, I don't know. It definitely feels like regular TV again. Holy crap. What is that? Oh, is that Doom? That actually didn't look like Doom though.
You're watching IGN Fan Fest. Now, revealed last year at the Game Awards, Nightingale is a shared
Thank you.
world
All right.
survival
Here we go.
crafting game that's brimming with cool ideas. More importantly, though, it's also got some big, awesome monsters in it, including a brand new one that you're about to see for the first time today.
Let's check in with some of the folks behind Nightingale to learn more about these horrible beasts. I mean, the monsters, not the people making the game. The people making the game seem wonderful. Or are they? There's only one way to find out.
Stop it. All right, here we go. Cool.
Hi everybody, Max Scoville here for IGN, and I'm joined by Aaron Flynn and Neil Thompson from Inflection Games, showing off Nightingale. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hi, Max.
So Nightingale was a big, huge reveal at the Game Awards. It is a survival, crafting, shared world game that is has a very distinct kind of Victorian gas lamp aesthetic. There's a lot going on here. Before we dive into all that, can we get a little bit of background on sort of who Inflection Games are as a studio, what your background is, and where this all came from?
Yeah, thanks, Max. So Inflection Games is about 3.5 years old now. We started this studio in the summer of 2018. Myself, Neil, a few others from BioWare, plus some new folks who joined us around the industry. We put together here in Edmonton, Canada, about 3.5 years ago, and we've been growing. We're about 100 developers now, and we're working on this one project, Nightingale, which we were very happy to reveal at the Game Awards about a month and a half ago now. Wow, time flies.
Now, Nightingale is, I feel like
we'll have to
BioWare has
rewind.
the pedigree of doing incredible, world building and RPGs and all that, but the sort of survival crafting side of things is a little bit new here. Can you talk a little bit about what makes Nightingale different from sort of other games in that genre?
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, sure. So definitely world building was something we wanted to invest in. You're right. We learned a lot of lessons working on Mass Effect, Dragon Age, other games at BioWare, and really understanding what players want, what creates a living, breathing world that players want to spend their time in, want to really invest in. And so we took a lot of those lessons here to Inflection as we put together the plans for Nightingale. What we decided to change up was the formula for gameplay. So BioWare, obviously, and a lot of us spent a lot of time building RPGs, action RPGs, great shooting mechanics in Mass Effect, wonderful
Don't worry,
mechanics
we'll
in
rewind
Dragon
it.
Age
We'll rewind
Origins
it.
and beyond. But we wanted to put this survival crafting spin in it. So we spent a lot of time understanding the survival crafting genre, still learning lots in that area, because it's a really interesting genre for innovation, for new plans, for these really smart teams coming up with really interesting and compelling new gameplay stuff. And so we're learning a lot about that and finding really fun survival crafting gameplay to put in front of players.
Now, of course, there is the fantasy element. You've got incredible, gigantic monsters and creatures roaming around. Could you give me a little bit of context of sort of where players are? Like, what is this world? What are they doing there? Why are the monsters mad at them? Let's start there.
You can think about our universe as a kind of series of it's parallel universes. Effectively, there's a seemingly endless number of realms, as we call them realm walkers that you play. You're lost within these realms initially at the start of the game.
I think
the realms are inhabited by creatures, by monsters, by wildlife, and you got to kind of deal with them as you see fit. We saw in the reveal trailer we had creatures like the hill giant, and we saw him in the reveal trailer. He was kind of breaking up your house, but we also saw him taking an offering from players, and it was important for us that in your interactions with creatures, even seemingly monstrous creatures, there's not always a violent outcome. There's other ways to mitigate your situation than just by violence alone.
Now let's talk a little bit about the sort of the creature design. Neil, there's this kind of a wonderful, like, Victorian aesthetic, and you have a monster called the Bandersnatch, which has some wonderful kind of Lewis Carroll DNA. Can you speak a little bit about the, I guess the look of these creatures?
Yeah, we very much, because it is that sort of Victorian period, which is an incredibly visually evocative period. And from a creature perspective, we wanted to really delve into this idea of folklore and fairy tale and gain our inspirations from there. So the Bandersnatch in our world,
Yes.
it's kind of a pretty vicious cross between a raptor and a kind of bat-like creature, and they're pretty lively in the realms. Not necessarily something you would want to meet on a dark night, that's for sure.
Would it be reasonable to expect that maybe a Jabberwocky would make an appearance?
Could be. Could do.
Okay.
There are no limits to these things.
Yeah. Now, can you talk a little bit about the Bound and the Harpies?
Yeah, the Bound are great, yes. I like the Bound a lot. I think they're a wonderful faction. They're essentially our main enemy within the world of Nightingale is the Fae, and the Fae have created the Bound as a mimicry of humanity, effectively. They create them in vats. They're sort of magically spawned, and then they send them out into the worlds to combat against unwary realm walkers. And there's lots of different factions. In the reveal trailer, we saw some minions who are just kind of popcorn quadruped enemies that will just throw themselves at you. But there's also ones with more magical abilities, more ranged abilities, tank-like creatures. There's a Bound Bruiser in the reveal trailer who has a wheel for a head, just because it was kind of cool, and we thought it was interesting. So there's lots of variation, lots of factions coming along. And the Harpies were fantastic creatures. When we started thinking about kind of mythical and creatures from folklore, we thought about Harpies, and then our concept team took that idea and really ran with it. And then we started thinking about the ways a creature like that, who her behavior is that they steal things from players. They will steal your stuff in the
That's the Harpy.
And we started thinking about, well, maybe they disguise themselves to better meet their ends. And that's where the kind of idea that they might almost take on this sort of human visage with the face and the cloak around them to almost look like an old woman where they're in the realms. I mean, of course, it doesn't look like an old woman when you get up close, but by then it might be too late.
Now, let's talk about the realms some more. How do players sort of get between them? How do you do actual realm walking within the game?
Well, that's a great question, Max. So players will be venturing to portals, and they'll find portals all throughout the realms that they're exploring. And they'll have the choice then to decide to stay in the realm that they're in or go to another realm. And we're not talking yet about how exactly players will do that, but it'll involve a relatively complex process of deciding which realm you want to go to, of getting the right materials to make sure that you have the gear to go do that, and then ensuring that whatever's on the other side of that portal, you have the right tools, the right equipment, and even potentially the right party members to go off and to explore that realm on the other side. So the whole goal is to give players lots of opportunities to explore a realm, and then when they're ready to, they'll find a portal and they'll decide if they want to go to another realm and what exactly that realm will be.
Should we expect the realms to be just drastically different in terms of climate and environment and things living there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the phrase endless adventures is absolutely key to the experience of Nightingale. So anything you can imagine within that context, we're looking at.
Now, speaking of creatures, the name is a creature. A nightingale's a bird. What's the context there? What does that have to do with the game?
Actually, it came from the lore in the very earliest days when we were putting the concept together and the idea of a lost city, effectively, and as it grew, as the lore grew, as we had more ideas around the world, we started to call the city gradually took on this name of Nightingale, and then as we progressed, we just thought, but isn't that a really evocative, great name for the game itself? And that's why we chose it.
Can you talk a little bit about sort of your influences in designing the creatures and the sort of the look of the world? Was there any kind of art or media you were looking to for inspiration or drawing from? You mentioned fairy tales.
Yeah, lots. I mean, it it's such a rich period. I mean, one of the main inspirations, just conceptually, for the whole Nightingale experience was a book by Susanna Clarke called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Yep.
That Aaron and I both love. It was televised. It's a really fantastic BBC show as well. And
it is a good series. You can get it on Google
because
Play.
It deals with the exact same themes, but what's great about it is there's this idea within the book that there's a world beyond the veil, effectively, and if you pierce that veil, bad things can happen, or you suddenly lose control over what can happen.
I hope
and
they
that
show
was
the
our
city.
kind of parallel between the world of Fae and the Feywild that was setting that we have within the game. And then visually, we look at lots of historical art. Our environment director Noel is very keen on Dutch art. So when you look at the game, you look at all the lighting within the game, we're using those kind of classical art experiences and influences to kind of influence the overall aesthetic of Nightingale as a product.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful. The Dutch masters were definitely doing some very good lighting and volumetric before its time.
Absolutely.
Now,
If you two say so, I don't know. I mean, sure.
No, there's a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird, vaguely fantastic looking historical art like that. Now let's talk about when players can get their hands on this. You're doing early access, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to start playtesting in the very near future here. So we've had you can sign up at playnightingale.com to learn more, and then we'll be inviting a few folks in as needed based on some parameters, things like PC specs and stuff like that, familiarity with the genre.
All right, Aaron, Neil, thank you so much for showing off Nightingale. I'm dying to find out more, and if you watching at home are trying to find out more, you're already in the right place. IGN.
Oh, they didn't give us a date though. All right, we're gonna have to go back and I'm gonna watch that again, just the entire thing twice, and then.
Oh, hey, you are currently watching IGN Fan Fest. I hope you're having a great time. In just a bit, we're sitting down with Ryan Reynolds to hear about his upcoming movie, The
Okay.
Them in advance.
I want to watch that whole thing again really quick, and then we can start going through and like pausing at certain points, because I feel like on the second time around we'll notice certain things. So let's try and watch that again.
Monsters in it, including a brand new one that you're about to see for the first time today.
Let's check in with some of the folks behind Nightingale to learn more about these horrible beasts. I mean, the monsters, not the people making the game. The people making the game
take notes too.
seem wonderful. Or are they? There's only one way to find out.
Hi everybody, Max Scoville here for IGN, and I'm joined by Aaron Flynn and Neil Thompson from Inflection Games, showing off Nightingale. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hi, Max.
So Nightingale was a big, huge reveal at the Game Awards. It is a survival, crafting, shared world game that is has a very distinct kind of Victorian gas lamp aesthetic. There's a lot going on here. Before we dive into all that, can we get a little bit of background on sort of who Inflection Games are as a studio, what your background is, and where this all came from?
Yeah, thanks, Max. So Inflection Games is about 3.5 years old now. We started this studio in the summer of 2018. Myself, Neil, a few others from BioWare, plus some new folks who joined us around the industry. We put together here in Edmonton, Canada, about 3.5 years ago, and we've been growing. We're about 100 developers now, and we're working on this one project, Nightingale, which we were very happy to reveal at the Game Awards about a month and a half ago now. Wow, time flies.
Hold on. Let's stop right there. Let's go back really quick. So this is something we didn't see. We didn't get a good look at in the beginning. So this is when they showed a little bit of the gameplay. Of course, we see more during the later part of it, but I want to get a deeper look at this right here. Right here. So even this concept art could potentially give some clues, because so what they oh yeah, the weapons. Look at that. So we see some weapons right here. Is one of those a crossbow? I'll have to zoom in on this when they upload it to their channel, or when I'm able to download the whole live stream. But so what they were talking about with the whole realms, with the realms being parallel universes, that seems like it might answer my question about historical figures, because what I was starting to get from that was that these, like for instance, if these guys are considered historical figures, it means any historical figure could potentially show up in one of these realms. Like if we see Alexander the Great, for example, or I don't know, Genghis Khan maybe in one of these, that might make sense, because it could be a parallel universe where maybe they were born in another time in history. But I'm really curious to find out more about this, because the the realms biome wise, they all look different, or like the biomes, they look so unique from each other. Like some of them look more like Egyptian style realms, some of them look more like Eastern. This is what I wanted to see. That looks so. On the left, it looks, what is that? Is that a turret? That is a turret. Okay, you see it? Base range weapon. That's a turret. So we're gonna have turrets for the purge. I'm really surprised at that, actually. I didn't expect us to actually have that this early in. But so this means that everything we're looking at here is an actual base. That looks gorgeous. Oh, they did? Okay, good. Thank you. I wasn't sure if they do that, actually. Thank you. Let's watch it on there. Where is it? Maybe it didn't populate yet. Hold on. They posted on the official YouTube? No. Oh, I see it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let me make sure I download that too. That's gorgeous. Yeah, let me download it really quick so we can start zooming in. I want to go straight back to that part really quick. So I'm so glad that we were able to stop right there, because I would never have known that we had base turret, or that they have base turrets already. Come on. Almost done. Okay, I'm done downloading. Okay, let's get this moved over. Alrighty. And are we still transferring? All right, it should be done in a second. Come on. I just want to see if I can skip to a specific timestamp for it. It is, okay, like around 50, 51, 49. Doesn't matter really. And then on the right side, I want to analyze that one separately once we get in there. There it is. Okay, cool. Let me copy paste this in here. All right, doesn't matter. Let's go in here. I'm not gonna start a new one for this. All right. All right. Yep, so that's where we see the base range turret. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper. That's where it ends. Damn it. God, that looks gorgeous. Look at that. I wonder if I can see anything else in here. Maybe farmland. I think I see that's somebody's health bar right here in the back. So that's a pretty interesting health bar design. And then on the right side, though, we got something else entirely here. This could potentially be... Wait. So that's that same person, I think. Yeah, there. I see the flowers here. That's that same person. They're just coming from another direction. Get out of there a little bit. There's some kind of, is there a tag for those flowers? No, there's not. Okay. I was wondering if this might be like farmland that you could actually plant, because I'm assuming more than likely we'll see vegetation that we can actually make ourselves, but if we do see, I don't know, because if we do see vegetation that we can actually plant, we get like a confirmation of it, then that might tell us that there is an actual food and drink system. Yeah, there's base turrets though, just like we saw. Let's see if we can go a little bit deeper here. Well, first let's finish watching it first, actually.
Nightingale, which we were very happy to reveal at the Game Awards about a month and a half ago now. Wow, time flies.
Now, Nightingale is, I feel like BioWare has the pedigree of doing incredible, world building and RPGs and all that, but the sort of survival crafting side of things is a little bit new here. Can you talk a little bit about what makes Nightingale different from sort of other games in that genre?
Yeah, sure. So definitely world building was something we wanted to invest in. You're right. We learned a lot of lessons working on Mass Effect, Dragon Age, other games at BioWare, and really understanding what players want, what creates a living, breathing world that players want to spend their time in, want to really invest in. And so we took a lot of those lessons here to Inflection as we put together the plans for Nightingale. What we decided to change up was the formula for gameplay. So BioWare, obviously, and a lot of us spent a lot of time building RPGs, action RPGs, great shooting mechanics in Mass Effect, wonderful mechanics in Dragon Age Origins and beyond. But we wanted to put this survival crafting spin in it. So we spent a lot of time understanding the survival crafting genre, still learning lots in that area, because it's a really interesting genre for innovation, for new plans, for these really smart teams coming up with really interesting and compelling new gameplay stuff. And so we're learning a lot about that and finding really fun survival crafting gameplay to put in front of players.
Now, of course, there is the fantasy element. You've got incredible gigantic monsters and creatures roaming around. Could you give me a little bit of context of sort of where players are? Like, what is this world? What are they doing there? Why are the monsters mad at them? Let's start there.
You can think about our universe as a kind of series of it's parallel universes. Effectively, there's a seemingly endless number of realms, and as we call them, realm walkers that you play. You're lost within these realms initially at the start of the game, and the realms are inhabited by creatures, by monsters, by wildlife, and you got to kind of deal with them as you see fit. We saw in the reveal trailer we had creatures like the hill giant, and we saw him in the reveal trailer. He was kind of breaking up your house, but we also saw him taking an offering from players, and it was important for us that in your interactions with creatures, even seemingly monstrous creatures, there's not always a violent outcome. There's other ways to mitigate your situation than just by violence alone.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the sort of the creature design. Neil, there's this kind of a wonderful, Victorian aesthetic, and you have a monster called the Bandersnatch, which has some wonderful kind of Lewis Carroll DNA. Can you speak a little bit about I guess the look of these creatures.
Yeah, we very much because it is that sort of Victorian period, which is an incredibly visually evocative period. And from a creature perspective, we wanted to really delve into this idea of folklore and fairy tale and gain our inspirations from there. So the Bandersnatch in our world, it's kind of a pretty vicious cross between a raptor and a kind of bat-like creature, and they're pretty lively in the realms. Not necessarily something.
Wanted to stop there really quick. What is that in the background? Is that a creature? Right over here? Oh no, that looks like it's just part of the terrain or part of a building. But I wanted to look more at that because I'm trying to figure out if these are like actual structures or these are something we can build. It seems like something we can build. We keep seeing them and well, okay, so it looks like it could be a structure that we can build around, but I don't know if we'll actually be able to design our bases like that. Or if it's going to be a thing where when you're in that specific realm, then that's what you build. And then you can't build in other types of styles, because so far we haven't really seen like the other style of building in this type of terrain from what I've seen.
Sure.
Would it be reasonable to expect that maybe a Jabberwocky would make an appearance?
Could be. Could do.
Okay. They
are
no
known
limits
to these things. Yeah.
Now, can you talk a little bit about the Bound and the Harpies?
Yeah, the Bound are great. Yes. I like the Bound a lot. I think they're a wonderful faction. They're essentially our main enemy within the world of Nightingale is the Fae, and the Fae have created the Bound as a mimicry of humanity. Effectively, they create them in vats. They're sort of magically spawned, and then they send them out into the worlds to combat against unwary realm walkers. And there's lots of
yeah, because sorry to pause again. So for the Fae, I think we might interact with some of the Fae, like because they seem like they're pulling the Fae from the Jonathan Strange, Mr. Norrell story, and as far as I know, I don't remember, but I don't know if the Fae can like directly, like for example, kill a human. I think they could like curse them and whatnot, but I think as far as like directly killing them, they might have to get somebody else to do that. Could be wrong on that, but I think this could be a similar situation, and it could be a thing where like if we encounter them in game, they might offer to give us something like to learn magic, but in return, they might severely damage us, or we might have to pay the price somehow later, like with currency or some kind of trick. I still think that they might end up being like the tricksters and trying to like ally with us while at the same time trying to destroy us too.
different factions. You know, in the reveal trailer, we saw some minions who are just kind of popcorn quadruped enemies that will just throw themselves at you. But there's also ones with more magical abilities, more ranged abilities, tank-like creatures. There's a bound bruiser in the reveal trailer who has a wheel for a head, just because it was kind of cool and we thought it was interesting. So there's lots of variation, lots of factions coming along. And the harpies were fantastic creatures. When we started thinking about kind of mythical and creatures from folklore, you know, we thought about harpies, and then our concept team took that idea and really ran with it. And then we started thinking about, you know, the ways a creature like that, who her behavior is that they steal things from players. They will steal your stuff in the encampment. And we started thinking about, well, maybe they disguise themselves to better.
I didn't hear that part last time. So what are they trying to steal here? It looks like it could be a corpse, like maybe a body of something the player was just hunting, like maybe even a buck or something of that nature. Or
players that will steal.
I couldn't imagine, unless that's like a harpy's nest.
Steal your.
And this base here, I wanted to pull attention to this earlier. I was like, what is this? So this looks like a floating platform. Maybe it was cut off from the, I don't know how this is a thing. It looks like as if like the part of the base got destroyed, and this container was initially placed on a platform. That platform got destroyed, but the container didn't fall. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but that looks interesting. I like the design though quite a bit. I'm noticing that we can build these type of platforms, and this doesn't, I don't This feels like it's all one piece. It doesn't feel like, because if we can build diagonal pillars like this, then that'll be pretty cool. But I feel like this might just be all one piece. Normally, I don't think we see building pieces like this in sandboxes when it comes to like building towers. I think we normally have to build the pillars straight up. But I like this. This looks really cool. Really, really cool.
Stuff in the encampment. And we started thinking about, well, maybe they disguise themselves to better.
And in the background here,
to better meet their.
That looks like some sort of temple. Maybe similar to potentially even Valheim, where we were able to explore those different, like in the swamp areas, those undead ruins to get resources. It looks something similar to that.
Friends, and that's where the kind of idea that they might almost
another looking like temple looking structure over here
to take on this sort of human visage with the face and the cloak around them to almost look like an old woman where they're in the realms. I mean, of course, it doesn't look like an old woman when you get up close, but by then it might be too late.
Now let's talk about the realms some more. How do players sort of get between them? How do you do actual realm walking within the game?
Well, that's a great question, Max. So players will be venturing to portals, and they'll find portals all throughout the realms that they're exploring. And they'll have the choice then to decide to stay in the realm that they're in or go to another realm. And we're not talking yet about how exactly players will do that, but it'll involve a relatively complex process of deciding which realm you want to go to, of getting the right materials to make sure that
wait a minute,
you have the
is that wildlife or what is that?
The gear to go do that, and then ensuring that whatever's on the other side of that.
Oh yeah, you know what? No, they haven't confirmed it yet. But look at this right here. This looks like it could be a confirmation
portal. You have the right.
So it definitely looks like this is a food container being held over this campfire. So more than likely, we will have a food and drink system. The only question though is if we're going to need food to survive. I feel like we probably will, but I was thinking it could also be just like on the little less hardcore side where it could just be like health and stamina. And that's about it. This tent though, this looks super cool. I love the look of this right here. Like I don't think I can think of any survival sandbox off the top of my head where we can build an actual tent like this. Like I'm trying to think. Maybe Conan might have something like that. I know Gloria Victis, of course, you can build like war tents and whatnot from what I remember, but this looks really nice.
And then ensuring that
I would love to build. I hope they have different styles of this. And then this looks like it's. I think that's more of a telescope, right? I can see the mirror, and yeah, it looks like it's more of a telescope.
Whatever's on the other side of that portal, you have the
but this gear here, though, I've been really curious about the windmill type structures. This looks like it could be an area where we would put like vegetation or maybe even livestock.
Getting the right materials to make.
This one here doesn't look like he's a hostile animal, so
sure that you have.
This could be like one of the neutral ones that we could potentially tame.
The gear to go do that.
And then this shot looks gorgeous, though.
Ensuring that whatever's on the other side of that portal, you have the right.
And then inside here, I can't really see. I'm gonna have to lighten this up, but it looks like that could potentially be a bed. Could be a bed, could be just
tools,
something else entirely. I can't
right equipment,
really see right there,
and even potential.
And then that looks like a nightstand right next to it. Shipwreck again.
Actually, the right party members with you to go off and to explore that realm on the other side. So the whole goal is to give
suitcase. Why do they have a suitcase? Looks like a suitcase. Chair right there.
Players lots of opportunities to explore a realm, and then when they're ready to, they'll find a portal and they'll decide if they want to go to another realm and what exactly that realm will be.
Should we expect the realms to be just drastically different in terms of climate and environment and things living there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the phrase endless adventures is absolutely key to the experience of Nightingale. So anything you can imagine within that context, yeah, we're looking at.
Now, speaking of creatures, the name is a creature. A nightingale's a bird. What's the context there? What does that have to do with the game?
Actually, it came from the law in the very earliest days when we were putting the concept together and the idea of a lost city effectively, and as it grew, as the lore grew, as we had more ideas around the world, we started to call the city gradually took on this name of Nightingale, and then as we progressed, we just thought, but isn't that a really evocative, great name for the game itself? And that's why we chose it.
Can you talk a little bit about sort of your influences in designing the creatures and the sort of the look of the world? Was there any kind of art or media you were looking to for inspiration or drawing from? You mentioned fairy tales.
Yeah, lots. I mean, it's such a rich period. I mean, one of the main inspirations, just conceptually, for the whole Nightingale experience was a book by Susanna Clarke called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. That Aaron and I both love. It was televised. It's a really fantastic BBC show as well, and not because it deals with the exact same themes, but what's great about it is there's this idea within the book that there's a world beyond the veil, effectively, and if you pierce that veil, bad things can happen, or you suddenly lose control over what can happen, and that was our kind of parallel between the world of Fae and the Feywild setting that we have within the game. And then visually, we look at lots of historical art. Our environment director Noel is very keen on Dutch art. So when you look at the game, you look at all the lighting within the game, we're using those kind of classical art experiences and influences to kind of influence the overall aesthetic of Nightingale as a product.
Awesome. That sounds wonderful. The Dutch masters were definitely doing some very good lighting, that volumetric before its time.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely. If you two say so, I don't know. I mean, sure.
No, there's a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird, vaguely fantastic looking historical art like that. Now let's talk about when players can get their hands on this. You're doing early access, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So we're going to start playtesting in the very near future here. So we've had you can sign up at playnightingale.com to learn more, and then we'll be inviting a few folks in as needed based on some parameters, things like PC specs and stuff like that, familiarity with the genre.
All right, Aaron, Neil, thank you so much.
Sweet. It looks good. It looks really good. I'm actually surprised because normally with these events, I think somebody said it earlier. Normally they don't reveal a whole lot, or they'll just say a lot of stuff that we've already heard before, but no, they came prepared. I like it a lot. I'm gonna spend some time watching through this and just listening to it in the background, because I'd like to get a full deeper understanding of the showcase before working on the video later tonight. But it looks good. I like it. I'm gonna call it there for now, folks. I'm gonna go listen to this some more and probably do some other stuff while I do that in the meantime. But thank you guys so much for showing up for the showcase. It looks really nice. I'm excited for the playtest. I'm really curious to see what they can bring to the table. I'll catch you guys in there. Don't forget to sign up for the website, playnightingale.com. And also, I am sponsored by ENEBA right now. So if you guys need a gaming marketplace to check out some cheap games for really good prices, check out that as well. Link in the description. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you next time. Peace out.